Have you ever been around someone who makes you feel invisible, small, or even guilty for things you didn't do? Many people experience this, and often, the hidden culprit is narcissism. In this video, we'll explore the 5 warning signs that you're dealing with a narcissist. These insights come from psychological understanding and will help you recognize the patterns clearly. Narcissism is more than just vanity or self-love. At its core, it's a deep psychological condition rooted in insecurity, power dynamics, and emotional manipulation. People with narcissistic traits often leave those around them confused, drained, and doubting their own reality. Recognizing this behavior is the first step to protecting yourself. In today's discussion, we'll break down the behavior psychologists consistently see in narcissists. We'll explain not only what these traits look like, but also why they happen and how they impact those in close relationships. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer lens to spot narcissistic patterns in anyone. We'll go step by step through 5 clear warning signs, starting from lack of empathy to manipulation tactics like gaslighting, and ending with their inability to form healthy relationships. Each sign will be explained in simple terms, with real-world examples you can relate to. This will make the information not only easy to understand but unforgettable. So, if you've ever wondered, am I dealing with a narcissist? Stay with me until the end. This could be the eye-opening knowledge that changes how you view certain people in your life. Let's begin with the first sign, the absence of genuine empathy. Empathy is the ability to step into another person's shoes, to feel what they feel, and to respond with compassion. Psychologists describe it as a fundamental component of healthy human connection. Yet narcissists often display a striking inability to empathize. They may understand your words but fail to truly grasp your emotions. For example, when you share a painful experience, like losing someone close, a narcissist might respond with a detached comment or quickly redirect the conversation back to themselves. This lack of emotional depth leaves you feeling unheard, even invalidated, as though your pain doesn't matter. According to clinical psychologists, this inability isn't always conscious cruelty. Narcissists often lack the psychological tools to connect emotionally because acknowledging others' needs threatens their fragile sense of self. Instead, they guard themselves by dismissing or minimizing other people's experiences. Over time, living with someone who cannot empathize can be devastating. You may start to feel invisible, questioning whether your feelings are valid at all. This erosion of emotional safety is one of the earliest and clearest signs you might be dealing with a narcissist. When psychologists counsel people in relationships with narcissists, one of the first strategies is to notice this absence of empathy. Once you see the pattern, you can protect yourself from constantly seeking validation where it will never be given. Let's move to the next warning sign, gaslighting. Gaslighting is one of the most insidious tools in the narcissist's arsenal. It's a psychological tactic designed to make you doubt your own memory, perception, or judgment. The term comes from a play in which a husband manipulates his wife into believing she's losing her sanity. Imagine confronting a narcissist about something hurtful they said. Instead of listening, they deny it completely. "I never said that. You're imagining things." Over time, repeated experiences like this wear you down, making you question your own reality. That's gaslighting at work. Psychologists explain that gaslighting serves 2 purposes. First, it deflects responsibility from the narcissist. Second, it destabilizes the victim, making them easier to control. A person who doubts their own mind is far less likely to challenge the manipulator's authority. The psychological damage of gaslighting can be profound. Victims often describe feeling confused, anxious, and constantly second-guessing themselves. Some even report feeling as though they are losing their mind, when in fact they are being systematically manipulated. Recognizing gaslighting is a critical step toward self-protection. If someone regularly dismisses your feelings, denies clear facts, or makes you doubt your memory, you may be dealing with a narcissist. In the next section, we'll explore another hallmark behavior, the endless need for validation. Validation is a healthy human need, but for narcissists, it becomes an unending hunger. Psychologists describe this as a fragile self-esteem that constantly requires external reinforcement. No matter how much praise they receive, it never seems to be enough. In daily life, this may appear as constant fishing for compliments. A narcissist might boast about their achievements or appearance, then subtly wait for your admiration. If it doesn't come quickly, they may even become irritated, accusing you of not appreciating them. Over time, this relentless demand for attention can be exhausting. Partners, friends, and colleagues often describe feeling emotionally drained, as though their role is to serve as an audience rather than an equal. Relationships become one-sided performances. Psychologists emphasize that this need for validation comes from deep insecurity. Narcissists build their identity on external approval because their internal sense of worth is unstable. Without constant admiration, they fear collapsing into feelings of shame and inadequacy. Recognizing this cycle is crucial. When you notice someone who endlessly seeks reassurance, reacts poorly to criticism, and needs constant applause, you may be seeing the third warning sign of narcissism. Next, we'll explore how narcissists use manipulation to control those around them. Manipulation is at the heart of narcissistic behavior. Unlike healthy influence, manipulation is designed to exploit another person for selfish gain. Psychologists explain that narcissists manipulate to maintain control, ensuring that others remain dependent and submissive. One common tactic is guilt-tripping. You might hear phrases like, "After everything I've done for you, you can't even do this one thing for me." This reframes the situation so that you feel indebted, while the narcissist positions themselves as a victim. Another tactic is playing the martyr. Narcissists may exaggerate their struggles or sacrifices to make you feel obligated. This creates a dynamic where you are always giving, and they are always taking, often without offering genuine reciprocity. Psychologists warn that manipulation can be subtle. Over time, you may not even realize how much control has been surrendered. You might find yourself saying yes when you mean no, or sacrificing your own needs to keep the peace in a relationship. Recognizing manipulation is empowering. Once you see the tactics clearly, you can step back and question whether your choices are truly yours, or if they've been engineered by a narcissist. The next sign we'll examine is their inability to sustain healthy relationships. Healthy relationships are built on trust, respect, and reciprocity. But for narcissists, these foundations often crumble. They struggle to maintain long-term connections because their behavior drives people away. Psychologists observe a repeating cycle: charm at first, then manipulation, conflict, and eventually collapse. If you listen closely to a narcissist's stories, you'll often notice a pattern. Every ex-partner is crazy, every friend who left is jealous, and every boss was toxic. Rarely do they acknowledge their role in failed relationships. This inability to take accountability is a glaring warning sign. Psychologists explain that narcissists avoid responsibility because it threatens their fragile ego. Admitting fault would expose the very vulnerability they work so hard to hide. Instead, they project blame outward, ensuring that others carry the weight of their mistakes. For those around them, this creates emotional chaos. You may feel constantly blamed for problems you didn't cause. Over time, you begin to doubt yourself, wondering if you truly are at fault. This confusion is exactly what keeps many people trapped in toxic cycles with narcissists. A common story shared by clients in therapy is the honeymoon to nightmare pattern. At first, the narcissist showers you with affection and admiration. But as time passes, the mask slips, revealing manipulation, criticism, and control. The contrast between the two phases can be shocking. Psychologists call this love bombing followed by devaluation. It's not accidental. It's a calculated cycle to hook the victim emotionally, then keep them under control. The push and pull dynamic keeps people chasing the early affection, even when it no longer exists. The damage of such cycles can be profound. Victims often describe feelings of worthlessness, anxiety, and even symptoms of depression. Living under constant manipulation chips away at self-confidence until the person barely recognizes themselves anymore. Narcissists thrive in environments where people second-guess themselves. By destabilizing those around them, they maintain control. This is why psychologists emphasize that knowledge is power. Once you can name the patterns, you can start breaking free from them. It's also important to note that not all narcissists are overtly aggressive. Some are covert, appearing shy, vulnerable, or overly sensitive. Yet beneath the surface, the same patterns of manipulation, lack of empathy, and blame-shifting exist. Recognizing both types is essential. Whether overt or covert, the result is often the same: broken trust, damaged self-esteem, and relationships that leave lasting scars. Psychologists stress that these aren't just personality quirks, they are destructive patterns that harm everyone involved. When dealing with narcissists, setting boundaries is one of the most important tools. Psychologists often advise clients to establish clear limits on what behavior they will and won't tolerate. This can protect your mental and emotional well-being, even if it doesn't change the narcissist. Boundaries may include refusing to engage in certain conversations, limiting contact, or walking away when manipulation begins. It's not about changing the narcissist, it's about protecting yourself from further harm. Healthy boundaries are a shield, not a weapon. Another key strategy is recognizing that you cannot fix a narcissist. Many people stay in toxic dynamics hoping the other person will change with enough love or patience. Psychologists emphasize this is unrealistic. Real transformation requires self-awareness, which narcissists often lack. Instead of focusing on changing them, shift the focus to yourself. Ask, what do I need to feel safe and respected? What steps can I take to protect my mental health? By redirecting attention inward, you regain control of your choices and your life. Support systems are also critical. Survivors of narcissistic abuse often feel isolated and misunderstood. Sharing your experiences with trusted friends, support groups, or a therapist can help you process the pain and rebuild your confidence. You are not alone in this journey. Therapy, in particular, can be transformative. A psychologist can help you identify manipulation tactics, rebuild self-esteem, and develop coping strategies. Many clients describe therapy as the turning point that allowed them to break free from toxic cycles. Another important point psychologists stress is self-compassion. Narcissists often leave their victims feeling broken or inadequate. Remind yourself that being manipulated doesn't mean you are weak. It means you were targeted by someone skilled in exploiting others. Healing from narcissistic abuse takes time. There is no quick fix, but every step forward, whether setting a boundary, saying no, or reclaiming your voice, is progress. Over time, these steps lead to empowerment and renewed self-worth. Remember, narcissists rely on control. When you begin to recognize their patterns and reclaim your independence, you disrupt their influence. Knowledge becomes your strongest defense. Once you see clearly, you cannot be manipulated in the same way again. As we wrap up, let's reflect on the 5 warning signs we've covered: lack of empathy, gaslighting, constant need for validation, manipulation, and difficulty maintaining healthy relationships. These patterns, when seen together, are strong indicators of narcissism. If these signs remind you of someone in your life, take them seriously. Protecting your mental health is not selfish, it is essential. Recognizing toxic behavior is the first step toward freedom, peace, and healthier connections with others. Psychologists consistently remind us, you deserve relationships built on respect, trust, and empathy. If those qualities are missing, no amount of effort will make the relationship healthy. Sometimes, the best choice is distance and self-preservation. So if you found yourself nodding along during this video, know this: you are not alone. Millions of people have dealt with narcissists, and many have found healing and strength afterward. You can, too. The power to change your path is in your hands. Thank you for staying with me through this discussion. If you found value in these insights, share this video with someone who may need it. And don't forget to subscribe for more content on understanding and protecting yourself from toxic behaviors. Until next time, take care of your mind, your heart, and your boundaries. Remember, awareness is the first step, but action is what sets you free. You deserve peace, you deserve respect, and most importantly, you deserve to feel whole again.